Hello, this is Helen Hall, and I am the Convention Trailmaster for our Las Cruces Convention coming up April the 26th through May the 4th in Las Cruces, New Mexico. Many of you think of New Mexico as being a land of deserts and cactus, but there's a whole lot more, and we hope to show you a lot more. Our first walk, by the way, I want to say these walks can be done at your own leisure any day of the week, but we will have a emphasized day where we will be there with registration table, directions, all that stuff, so that you can come out. And but if you choose to do it on a non-emphasized day, then you will be on your own. Okay, our first walk on Saturday, April the 26th, will be at one of my favorite places, the City of Rocks State Park. Hector? Okay, the trail is very well marked with these large, probably 3-foot by 5-foot rock signs, so I don't think you will have any trouble following it at all. The walk, the center of the park contains a large grouping of huge rocks. There is a nature trail that is about 4 to 5 feet wide that goes around the perimeter of the park except, okay? All right, there, we've got that. Let's see. Here is a view of the trail that goes around the park and then comes into one of the campsites. Straight ahead of you is campsite number 16, really very nice, all hidden among these huge rocks. Next. Let's see if I can. This is showing part of a trail that is the 10K extension. The very basic 5K has the level walk, and then it goes through the main center conglomeration of the large rocks. But there is another 5K trail that leads up to the top of Table Mountain, really not that high, but it then offers you views down over the entire site. It is more rugged, and I would recommend hiking boots and poles for this particular part. But as far as walking the 5K trail, you would be able to get by with just regular walking shoes. Poles can be useful in going through the rocks if you are a little bit unsteady on your feet. This again is a campsite. Right over here at this lower part right here is a picnic table. So it gives you kind of a scale to look at that you have a picnic table here, and then your campsite is nestled among the rocks. You can see that they are quite large. This is another campsite in this area. And we're going to continue hiking through the rocks except this is where you let your inner child come out, because they are a great place to scramble up on the rocks. You'll notice there's a person here with a child on her back, but it's very scenic. More of the rocks. And okay, now we're going on to Sunday. Silver City walk. Silver City is roughly 30 miles north of the City of Rock State Park. Our starting point will be the Western New Mexico University campus area. The reason we chose it there is it's the only place in town that has a whole lot of parking spaces. The visitor center could accommodate maybe 30 cars or so, but we needed more room. This is actually outside the visitor center. They have several excellent murals. And they are also part of the gateway to the Continental Divide Trail, um, but which is in that particular area. Silver City, I will say, is kind of a up and down um, city. The streets go up and then we come down. So we just keep on going back and forth. This is one of the churches there in Silver City that will be on the trail. This is an unusual sculpture that I saw on University Drive, close to the university. Uh, a- I guess you would call it the Broken Man. This is a kind of an interesting eclectic art. It is just a private fence built of concrete with all of these wine bottles inserted in it, and then bicycle wheels, which provides windows into their backyard. This is the University Museum. It is open to the public. It is free. Inside, they have a collection of pottery from the Native Americans who inhabited that particular area. All right, now, Monday is actually a free day where you can do any number of walks in the area. There will be several additional walks around Silver City and in Deming. And also then we have the University Walk. There is not this is a university campus walk, which starts at the Las Cruces Convention Center right there on campus. We walk from out the door, and in a half a block, you are on the campus. So this is one of the administration buildings there on the campus. Another one of their buildings with I'm not sure what this is supposed to be. I would say is some type of maybe either a sundial or a navigational device. Uh, an interesting clock there on campus with a number of different types of sculptures included there. Some more, another sculpture there on campus. This is another one. These are actually supposed to represent spores, greatly magnified. Each one of these sculptures, I would say, is at least 6 foot in length. They are definitely, they're not going to be itty bitty that you need a microscope for. Um, One of the places that we recommend that you stop and go into on campus is the Zool Library. It is not a huge library. They have another library on campus, but it has many samples of petrified wood. These particular polished samples of petrified wood are at least 3 feet by 3 feet. So we're not talking about things that you can pick up and hold in your hand. These are hanging on the wall. They have, as I said, quite a few of them. And these particular right here, they're a little bit distorted in this picture. These are the 2 halves of a geode. Most times whenever I think of a geode, I'm thinking of one that I can hold in my hand and crack. These are actually almost as tall as I am, 5 foot. So we're talking about, those are probably good 2 feet wide and 5 feet tall. So there's something to be kind of checked out. Okay. That, of course, is one of the walks that you can do on Monday, the University Walk and other local walks. Here we have Tuesday, we're going out to Dripping Springs in the Oregon Mountains, and you're going, so how far is that? It's about 10 miles. It's really close to Las Cruces, very easy to get to. You start at the convention center and then you just go straight east and you will get to the park site. This is part of a BLM location and affiliated with the national parks. And for the national park geeks, you can get your national park stamp there. Dripping Springs there was once a resort area many, many years ago. And these are some of the ruins from the old hotel area at that location. The trail for the 5K is a fairly level walk out and back. But you do get on up to see some of the mountainous areas. Then the trail comes back, and then the 10K will then make a circle around a central, another large rock. And here's where the trail branches off. Another view of the area. And this is kind of on the backside of that big rock mountain that I was talking about. But there are places there that you can rest for a little bit. There's also a cave, and this is looking from the outside of the cave, from the inside of the cave outward. It's referred to as the Hermit's Cave. There was once a hermit who lived there. You can see the soot from his campfire in the cave, and also kind of where he tucked in, and that's where he made his home. And just in another view of the Oregon Mountains there in Las Cruces. Okay, Wednesday, we are going to be going to Juarez, Mexico. And we have a choice of 2 walks to do on Wednesday because we do recognize that some people are hesitant about going into Juarez, or they do not have a passport. When you sign up on the registration packet, you will be asked to, for the walk, whether you want to do the Juarez or you want to do the El Paso Rose Garden. Again, because of time constraints, if you're going to use the bus, you cannot do both walks that day. And the Juarez walk will only be valid for Wednesday. Whereas the Rose Garden, if you were flying in and out of El Paso or whatever, you could do that at any other time during the week. This is actually the start of the walk. The buses will drop you off at a information plaza. The plaza itself is probably 50, 60 feet in diameter. It's not a huge place. There are restrooms there. From the plaza, you then proceed to the corner where there will be a man, a guard standing, supervising the turnstile. You will need 50 cents exact change, and that is 50 cents per person. It's not say, hey, here's my dollar bill for me and my friend. No, 50 cents per person. You put it into a insert your coins into a turnstile, and then the turnstile will let you go over. So once you go through this point, you walk over the bridge over the El Paso River, the Rio Grande River into Juarez, and you will be on the main street that comes back through the bridge and everything. Walking along the side, you will place okay, well, we skipped one. Okay, you will eventually come on down to the cathedral. The cathedral, the white one or the lighter colored one here on the left-hand side is the old original dating back a couple of 100 years. This is a very nice one on the right-hand side. It was finished in the 1950s, so it is not that old of a church. Okay, here's the Tin Tan Man. Now, he's a little bit funny looking. He was a famous actor, comedian, singer who got his start in Juarez, but he was famous back in the like 30s time frame, 30s, 40s. Whenever he was first getting his start, he went to the US to kind of check out what was going on and everything, and he became quite fond of the zoot suits. And he came back to Mexico and made the zoot suits uh, popular in Mexico. But as I said, he was a comedian, an actor, and there they have the museum there for the Tin Tan. That was his stage name. This is the old customs house. We actually walked down the main street, as I said, in Juarez for about a mile. And you will easily recognize the customs house on the left-hand side. And please notice this uh, tower here, because here is the Welcome to Juarez sign, and here is the customs house just in the background. And if you look on down here, snuggled by the Z, that is the church, the cathedral that I was pointing out earlier. So here is where your group can gather and have your picture taken in Juarez. This is the old, I believe the City Hall Municipal Building. It is now a museum. We will go through it to the interior patio, and this is going to be the checkpoint. At that point, they are actually planning to have an official to greet us, and they are planning to serve, I believe it's going to be like burritos or something, and a beverage of some sort. We're still trying to find out if it's going to be a sealed beverage or if it's going to be out of a punch bowl type. Not sure about that, but this is going to be the location. And once you get here, and this is roughly, you will have walked a mile and a half, and then you're just going to repeat your trip back the way you came. There are some for people who are a bit skeptical about the food, and I have been assured that it is not a problem at all, but that they were the more the locals. There are some places like Jack in the Box or some other US chains that are available there in case you want to get a snack. Now, okay, I want to go back to Juarez. Okay, never mind. Went the wrong way. Uh, Back to Juarez, when you come back across to get back into the US, you will first of all come to the bridge. There will be a man who will be standing there at the post to make sure that you have your passport in hand, your documents that you need, and that you have your 40 cents in exact change. You again insert your 40 cents into the turnstile. It then lets you go on over. You then climb the bridge or walking across the bridge to the center of it, and which then there is the official passport control. They will ask a few questions probably about how long have you been in Juarez? What were you doing in Juarez? Typical questions like that. I'm sure that since we're going to be there on a particular day that the passport people will be told that yes, there's all of these walkers coming across. So if they have this lanyard with their sign, you know, you don't have to keep on asking the same question. They are doing the same thing. All right. once we've got back, then the buses will be returning to Las Cruces. Now, for those who did not want to go into Juarez, the other option is the El Paso Municipal Rose Garden, which were quite lovely in April. And it is adjacent to the Manhattan Heights Historic District. And back in the around the 1900s, this particular section of town was had been, I believe, a copper mine that it was sold out, and the I would say the upper class started moving into the Manhattan Heights area and built these lovely homes. They are all today, this particular area, well-groomed, tidy, neat, sidewalks, uh, and just really quite nice. Here's another one of the homes. It's a little bit different in that it's done with rocks, but again, very manicured lawn. Another one of the houses. Now this one could use a little bit of an update on their post and everything, but you can see that it was quite a nice home. Here in the district, behind it is actually a view of the Franklin Mountains there in El Paso. This is one of the churches in that district area and another one of the churches. All right. So now after Wednesday, you had your choice of walks. There are some people who might want to go down there and do the walks on their own. Uh, and then there's even some people who might get down there and get lost. Our buses, we will be announcing that the last bus will be returning to Las Cruces at such and such a time because there are some meetings scheduled on that Wednesday afternoon. However, about 3 blocks from the return point for the Juarez walk, there is a bus station that has transportation, a bus that goes from El Paso back to Las Cruces and has a stop very close to the convention center. Uh, it operates, we will announce those times or give you those times, but there's buses that leave about 4, 4:30, 5:30, 6:30, and taking about an hour to get back to Las Cruces. And the charge for their buses is $3 one way. It is a heavily subsidized buses. They only run back and forth early in the morning until about 9:30 or so, and then late in the afternoon from about 4 o'clock to 8 o'clock, something like that. So it is possible that you could spend extra time in El Paso if you wanted to. Okay, Thursday and Friday, we're going to have 2 different walks available because you need to do one on Thursday and the other one on Friday. The reason for this is that the people at White Sands has asked us not to flood them with 5 or 6 buses, 300 people all coming through between 8 and 8:15. They just cannot handle it that way. So they ask us to divide it. So when you register, you will be able to specify if you want to go to White Sands on Thursday, or if you want to go on Friday, or you don't have or you don't care. Uh, Again, because of the distance, oh, and I didn't mention, the Juarez walk will be sanctioned for 5K only. And again, the White Sands walk is going to be sanctioned as a 5K walk only. There are 2 short trails in White Sands that give you a taste of it. And then you end up at the end of the road after you've driven through all of these sand dunes to a large parking lot. And there is a 5-mile trail here. And you say, well, then why can't we do 10K? Well, the problem is that when you get to the sand dunes at the end of the road, it is 2 steps forward and 1 step back. Walking in deep sand can be very strenuous. We will only have so much time, and depending upon how much time that you spend at the first 2 short walks and at the restrooms, that kind of thing, then your bus supervisor at White Sands, when you get there, he'll say, all right, you have 45 minutes at this stop. So set your watch, your timer, alarm, whatever, so that you know when you need to turn around and head back. All right. Here is what the sands look like. At this point, in some places, the sand almost had a little bit of a crust on them, but at other places, they do get thicker and everything. There will be no trail markers as such. If you look at this post up here on the left-hand upper side, this is what the trail looks like. It has trail markers of these posts. And I tell people, don't go wandering off until you can see the next post that you are heading to. Hiking sticks are fine. And shoes, expect to get sand in your shoes. And if you decide to slide down some of the dunes, then expect to get sand in your shorts. So this is a group back in 2018, I believe, or maybe 2019. No, excuse me, this was 2022. These are some more views of the sand dunes, a nighttime setting. Here we're going down, and then we will be, if you look, there's a post right over here. This was a Texas group. I recognize all of these people. They are all friends from the Dallas-Fort Worth area. There is vegetation out there on those dunes. And the dunes do keep on shifting because of the wind, the sand blowing and everything. And that's why your trail markers can't be more explicit. And some more vegetation there. All right. The other walk, whenever you don't do White Sands, the other walk that you can do is the Mesilla Valley Bosque State Park. And I've been told that bosque means forest. It is located about 5 miles from the convention center, and we will have a bus that takes people out to the state park and will be circling from the convention center to the state park and back until everybody has gone through it. This is the visitor center. Part of the visitor center, there are flush toilets. I keep on thinking, flush toilets, and water available. And they also have a small museum area and everything. So out back, they do have this covered pavilion, which we will be renting, and this will be our registration check-in and check-out and everything. So the park itself has about 2.5 miles of trail. The 5K walk will be inside the state park. The rest of the walk, the 10K, we'll talk about that in a little bit. But from here, and by the way, the Rio Grande River is just right on over there. It's not really large at this point. More of the trail, actually the whole walk is nice, broad, and I would call relatively flat. All right. The 10K people, after doing the walk inside the park, they will walk back up the park road to the main street going through there. And then catty corner across the bridge over the Rio Grande, you come to a hike and bike trail which is paved the whole way, and it's just this flat. This will lead all the way back into Las Cruces, but we're going to be turning around. It will be very easy. They actually have markers every quarter mile, except I noticed one or two were missing along the trail, so that when you get started on that and we'll say, okay, walk until you get to the bridge that you just saw, and then turn around and come back. So this is pretty much what it is. And again, this is part more of the hike and bike trail. And let's see, and that's the Rio Grande River flowing right beside it. Okay. Now this is more of the trail back in the state park. It is primarily fairly compact, but there is some loose sand. It is not though deep sand, so it's easy to go ahead and walk through this. Okay. Saturday, we're going to be doing the downtown Las Cruces, which is a very historic town. I believe I read that it is the second largest city in New Mexico. They have a historic downtown Main Street area, and you're going, oh, there's mountains right there? Yes, those are mountains. Now they're about 10 miles away, but they are still mountains there in uh, just outside of Las Cruces. And unfortunately, I lost all my pictures that I had taken of downtown. So these are just some that we pulled off of the internet. This particular church, I forget the name of it, it is only 10K route. This is another view of the Main Street, Church Street, which are the two main streets in the historic downtown area. I don't remember this particular bar scene. Henry found that picture. I looked at this one and I'm going, that's not downtown Las Cruces. That's actually downtown Mesilla, historic. And this M54 has to do with a particular treaty between Mexico and the U.S. Concerning borders and everything. This particular area was site, I believe, of the Gadsden Purchase finalization and that location. Okay. And finally on Sunday, we're going to Socorro, New Mexico. Very scenic, very historic. It was actually founded in 1598. Natives there. There was a Spanish troop out exploring and whatever in need of assistance, and the natives actually gave them substance, and they named the city then Socorro, which I believe is supposed to mean help. This is called the Wheel of History, and this would be the San Miguel Church. There are many other, you have the old big clumsy ox carts, either pulled by oxen or horses, the conquistador, the natives, and just in general, it's referred to the Wheel of History, and it's located in one of the plazas. Well, they actually have a main plaza that's very, very shady, and then they have an intersecting plaza that has the Wheel of History. It also has their war memorial. This, though, is the Socorro mural on the side of the Socorro City Hall. Again, the San Miguel Church that dates back, they say it was founded in 1598. I'm not sure. This one was, I believe, completed in 1821. And then on the campus, we are going to be starting on the campus the New Mexico Institute of Mining and Technology, locally known and pretty much throughout New Mexico, referred to as New Mexico Tech. This is actually, there's three different sculptures here. One of them, the past, the present, and the future. This is the geology museum there on campus. It's closed on Sundays, but we're going to see if we can get them to open it up because it has a large samples, many rock samples. If you look around here, these are all pieces of petrified wood, stumps and everything. And when you go on in, these are some of the samples. This was one particular stone that they sliced multiple times and then polished it to show, uh, different thicknesses and seeing through it. Um, these particular samples here, I would say would be like 6 by 6 inches. This particular stone would be over probably 1.5 by 1.5, something in that neighborhood. Let's see. This particular is a polished metal coil hanging from the ceiling in their student center. And our start point will be just outside the student center. The student center, of course, will have restrooms available. And I believe also a dining hall that we might be able to, if you wanted to eat there. Um, Okay, this is a more of the museum. This particular rock right here was probably at least 3 feet wide. Uh, the googly eyes were added to these particular uh, prisms. And the large one here was again probably 3 feet tall. You can see another large crystal in this area. And then some of the cases, and you can see that there are quite a few cases in here. And they have, as I say, mineral samples from all over New Mexico, the US, South America, Africa, Asia, Europe, all over the world, Australia. Very nice. In fact, they have just one glass case that was probably 5 feet wide and 3 feet deep that contained all of these faceted cut gemstones and everything. So I know a lot of people who would just like to go, oh, gee, that one's pretty and that one's pretty. Now, which one did you want? Okay, but quite a few gemstones. And this is another sample, polished sample and everything. And it is probably 3 feet wide and not quite 2 feet tall, but a big sample. Okay, so those are the walks that we have planned for New Mexico. You're going to see sand, you're going to see deserts, you're going to see mountains, you're going to see historic towns. Some of them will be flat walks. A lot of them will be kind of hilly up and down, but none of them extremely difficult or anything. So we're going to 3 cities, that is Juarez, El Paso, and Las Cruces for our official 5-day convention. 3 states, and I'm going, 3 states, which one? New Mexico, Texas, and wherever Juarez is. And then, of course, 2 countries. You have your choice. You don't have to go into Mexico, but I was there and I felt completely safe. I was escorted by some people from the El Paso Visitor Center and from the Juarez Visitor Center. And I would say in the daytime, uh, there is no reason to fear for your safety in going into Juarez. Particularly, we will be walking in groupish. We have our buses that will be unloading 50 people at a time. And so you do not have to walk alone. So that will be it. We hope to see you in New Mexico. And there will be information in the upcoming checkpoints for the next couple of months and also in the TAL. Thanks.